Hey guys, welcome to Movies with Ari. I'm Ari, and I'm so excited to review the movie 65 with Adam Driver. So let's get into it. Look, I know I've been away for a while. To who is subscribed to me, I apologize. It's been some crazy past months, but I am back and I am ready to do some more movie reviews. And today we're doing 65 with Adam Driver, who I'm a big fan of. I think he's a fabulous actor. But 65 is quite a unique movie. And you've seen Jurassic Park. If you haven't seen this movie, I recommend going and see it before watching this review. With Jurassic Park, I think it's very unique because it's like genetically made dinosaurs to bring back during our current time. And this movie kind of took a different twist from the typical dinosaur movies we see, because either the dinosaur movies we see are during its current time, and it's just about dinosaurs, or it's, in our current time and they're genetically made and put back into our world. And so it's really different, I find, than something I've seen before. I think this is quite an original in my mind with the whole dinosaur concept. It's not an original in the sense of like a survival movie, because that is solely what it is. But it is very different, I think, in the concept of dinosaurs. What's really neat about 65, it starts off on another planet. It starts off with other civilizations have explored the heavens or the universe and traveled to other planets. And planet Samaras is what we are introduced to in the first place. What's really neat about this is where we meet Adam Driver. We meet him and his family. He has a wife and a daughter. And his daughter is Naveen, and she's sick. They don't really say what sickness she has, but she's struggling with breathing sometimes. She's coughing a lot. She's just not doing very well. And he has to take this 2-year exploration trip and leave his sick daughter and his wife. And in the beginning, it's trying to explain, like, it's the wife and him talking about how to tell the daughter that he's going to leave for this exploration. And the trip that Mills is going on, which is Adam Driver's character, is going to pay for her treatment or help pay for the treatment that she'll need. We switch to Mills being on a ship that is carrying passengers that are in cryostasis, and they end up through a meteor field. If you haven't or don't know what cryostasis is, please go check out my Halo 4 Forward Unto Dawn video. I explained all about what cryostasis and cryogenics are. And if you want to learn more about that, that's a great video to reference. But they are in a meteor field and are required to crash land due to the damage of the ship. And they end up landing on an unknown planet, and Mills is injured in the abdomen. As he exits the ship, he learns that his people are laying dead in a swamp, as well as before he exits that his people or the passengers he was carrying suffered cryogenic failure. And so now he needs to find an escape pod or escape vessel to go off the planet, and that he's the only survivor. However, in finding out that he's the only survivor, he also finds out that there are 2 pods missing. He tries to send a message to the company that he works for, and he ends up ultimately deleting it, because why send a rescue mission vessel out for someone that's just alone on the planet and everyone else is dead? In the night, he goes searching for the escape vessel, and instead of him finding the escape vessel, he finds one of the 2 pods that went missing, and he finds a little girl in it. But in turn of finding the little girl, we also find out that the planet he landed on was Earth during 65 million years ago when the dinosaurs were around. As time goes on, he does discover where the escape vessels are, and he also encounters the dinosaurs for the first time, but calls them aliens, which is very interesting because in our mind, we would consider him the alien. And he begins to explain to the little girl about the situation, but she doesn't speak English, and she only speaks Miscat, which is one of the language that's from the planet that he's from, apparently. And he doesn't understand her, and his translator is broken. So we already have issues with the communication barrier, as well as the issue with the whole dinosaurs thing and how you're going to handle that while also trying to get to the escape vessel, which the escape vessel is quite far. Before they leave to find the escape vessel, though, Koa is watching clips of Mill's daughter, and we can assume that she has passed away by how the clips are laid out to us. But before we can find out, Mills comes in, shuts it off, and tells her that they need to leave. As they're making their journey, Koa sees a dinosaur that is in need of help. It is struggling. It seems to be like in maybe like tar or something like that, and saves it. But in turn of saving it, it seems like velociraptors come in and attack it and ultimately kill it. And it scares Koa because it's so unexpected, and she was trying to do a kind thing, and in turn it turned out to be a bad thing, so the dinosaur died anyways. As Mills is spending time with Koa, he's teaching her some form of English as time goes on, teaching her about water, or that's a flower, or you know family, or things like that, trying to make her understand in some terms what each thing is. But as he spends time with her, I think he's reminded of his daughter, and you see when he looks at her, he I think he sees his daughter. As they continue their journey, they have another encounter with a dinosaur, but in this turn it attacks them after losing the position of the escape vessel. And after the encounter with the dinosaurs, Koa is terrified and they can't move, so they have to wait until she's ready to move because she's just paralyzed with fear and she can't move forward. The neat thing about this is you see Mills come in this situation as being very gentle with Koa during this journey and as time goes on, and like how he handles certain situations with her, but he's also very disciplining with her. Like he disciplines her and tells her like, no, you can't eat that. You have to listen to me. Like you can't just run off and be on your own. And you see the father figure come out of him through being with Koa. You also see him with a lot of pain though, and he doesn't want to open up to Koa, but in turn we do finally find out that his daughter did pass and that this is what he's been dealing with like having to save her as well as trying to be a protector to her, to Koa, as he wasn't to his daughter because he had to leave to be on this exploration with these passengers. So after encountering not only velociraptors but a T-Rex that harasses them for like half of the movie, and towards the end, they escape the planet just in time before the extinction of the dinosaurs by the asteroid happens. So this is a really unique story because it's right at the end of the dinosaur era. It's when they are going through that extinction period, so they have to leave the planet. And as they leave the planet, the extinction does happen. They do have the giant explosion, and it wipes out the dinosaurs, which is pretty neat to see, and that it was a time crunch mission. And you can see through the credits that we see the Earth being plunged into the Ice Age, and eventually civilization begins, and whatnot happens after that, which is pretty neat because it's showing like, hey, this is where we were, but it developed as time goes on. So we don't know if they actually started civilization, which would have been pretty cool if they came back to this planet afterwards and that's how civilization started, was from these aliens that came from these other planets. That would have been pretty neat. I think that would have been a pretty setup for maybe a next one, but I think it's a really one done kind of movie, which is fine. I think it was really great as a one and done. I don't think you need a sequel, but it would have been really neat if they would have traveled back having to start civilization, and that's how Earth became populated with humans. I would rate this film a 3.5. It's a great survival story, but it's not perfect. And I don't find many survival stories to be perfect. I do think they do have mishaps and things in it that aren't, granted the 5 out of 5 or the 10 out of 10 that they should get. But Survival movies are a unique thing because you either like them or you don't. And I love survival movies. I think they're fantastic movies. I am always intrigued by them. I love 2012. I love The Martian. I loved Gravity. Um, I loved all those movies. The Darkest Hour. I enjoyed all of them. But if you're not a survival fan, then this is not the movie for you. You're not going to like it. And that's okay. That's some people just don't like those things. That's cool. But if you like survival movies, this is a great movie. If you don't, I find you're going to find this movie to be very flat and bland and not have much depth. However, I will disagree with you if you have seen it and you do find that it has no depth. Because I believe it has depth because of Mills and Mills' story. Because Mills struggles with the death of his daughter and doesn't request an escape vessel until he finds Koa. He didn't believe his life was worth saving, but when he found Koa, he needed to find that escape vessel. He needed someone to come and rescue them because if not, they would have just been trapped. And that's what ultimately led to the journey, is to get her off the planet, whether he survived or not, which has immense depth. And he sees, as I said earlier, Koa as a daughter and that he wants to protect her. He's using his father figure and having been a dad to protect this little girl because it is a reminder of his daughter. Because the thing about it is he can't live with the pain of losing another child, even if it's not his own. Another neat thing about this movie is that our antagonist is not a person. It's not an alien. Our antagonist is an asteroid, a comet that is going to attack Earth and destroy or cause the extinction that is the extinction of the dinosaurs. The only reason I rate this movie lower is just because there are better survival movies out there, like Gravity or The Martian. However, I do believe this is a really good movie, and I was really wowed by it when I saw it in theaters. This is my second time watching it, and I was wowed by it again. But I can see a little bit more of some of the things that could have been developed better from other people's eyes. But in my eyes, I thought it was really good and I thought it was a great movie and for what they made it to be. I didn't think it needed much more than that. It just, I can understand where people thought it was maybe bland or didn't have a whole lot of depth because it was a journey to an escape vessel. I find it very fascinating and I really like this movie. So I want to know what y'all guys thought. Did y'all like this movie as much as I did? Did you like it less than I did? Tell me in the comments below. Also, let me know any other recommendation of movies or TV shows that y'all would like me to watch. I'm always down to learn and watch new things. So I'm all about that. As well as I'll see you on the next one, guys.